There is a right and a wrong way to do self-development, boys. People don't understand how the learning process actually works, which is what I'm going to cover in this video. The point of self-development is to become basically unrecognizable over a long enough period of time, consuming information to make you a better version of you. It allows you to earn more money. It allows your physique to improve, your mindset to improve. Your whole life will improve if you put enough time into self-development. But if you're not progressing in all areas at a rapid rate, then you are doing it wrong. So like if you're already putting time into absorbing information, that's not enough if that's all you're doing. You have to also apply. But you need to understand how humans actually learn and how our brains work when it comes to learning and taking in new information, not just taking in, but cementing those ideas in your head and then moving forward with that information, which is the whole point. So if you're into self-development, you absolutely have to know this. The effective dose is 30 minutes every single day. This is a habit I follow. It's a habit I give to clients as well. 30 minutes, daily education, non-negotiable. Stop absorbing unintentionally. You're better off consuming 30 minutes of some form of self-development. I'll come on to multimodal learning in a second, how we take in information. You're better off consuming 30 minutes every single day than an hour every other day. Because an hour is harder to comprehend. An hour is harder to make that information stick, right? If you've listened to a full podcast before in one sitting, I've done it, right? If I was to recall what I've just learned, it's much harder. If I listen to 30 minutes of an audiobook or 30 minutes of reading, that's a good amount of information where I can really be present, I can be very intentional, and I can think about what I've actually learned and what I've processed and give it some thought in order to make it cemented after. 30 minutes a day gives you 15 hours a month just on becoming better. Think about how this compounds over time. 15 hours a month, that's 2 working days just on becoming a better version of yourself, trying to take in information and improve your life. That's massively valuable, guys. This is a non-negotiable. If you've got big dreams, big goals, big ambitions, you have to do this 30 minutes every single day. For those people that say that's unrealistic, 1, shut up. 2, habit stacking provides you with no excuse or no opportunity for an excuse. Most people watching this will drive somewhere. It could be to work, it could be to the gym. Most people will do steps in the day. They should be doing steps, expenditure, neat expenditure, very important for physique development. I start my day every single day with steps. I'll do anywhere from 3 to 10,000 in the morning, just get it boxed off before I start my work day. It gives me time to think. I can get 30 minutes of education in. I can spend time being present, focusing on breath work, just starting the day off correctly. Most people do cardio, or you can just make the time to learn. So there is no excuse for not getting 30 minutes of education in every single day. Stack your habits, become a fucking productive, efficient workhorse. Now, multimodal learning, how we actually take in information. You need to be splitting this up, guys. This is where a lot of people go wrong. They just listen to podcasts or they just listen to audiobooks. Not many people will just read. That's the modern world again, creating people that just can't focus. A third of your time should be spent reading, a third of your time listening, a third of your time watching, because they all give you something different. You're taking information in, across all 3 of these things or 3 of these ways of learning, but they're doing different things. When we read, we have to verbally process in our own heads what we're reading. When we listen, we have to focus a lot more on the words because we're processing it auditory, I think. And then when we watch, we have to take in the visual side of it as well, right? They all do different, very, very different things within the brain. Reading, focus, and attention span. Reading is a skill, guys. It genuinely is a skill. I read a lot. I've got some book recommendations as well, which I'll talk about at the end. I'm looking at my bookshelf up here. I've got tons and tons of books. This is a skill that you get better at over time. The crossover impact of reading is phenomenal. If you've ever read a book and you struggle with reading, this is what's happening to you, because I've been there and I understand it. You get to the end of a page, or maybe you finish both pages, right? And then if someone held a fucking gun up to your head, you would have no idea what's actually gone on that page. You've read the words, but you haven't really deeped them. You haven't really taken them in, right? That typically happens to a lot of new readers. That's just focus and attention span. That should be alarming to you. And I've been there, guys, but that should be alarming to you, because how are you going to then do anything at work or work on your business? You need to be someone who can actually pay attention, at least to fucking taking the words on a page and remember them. Listening improves active recall. So because we don't have the ability, I know you can rewind it, right? But if someone's talking, we have to remember something that they've said as they continue to give it more context. That's a very, very important skill in the world. How many people do you listen to in the day? It could be family, it could be girlfriend, it could be friends, could be someone in a business meeting, could be a client. You need to remember the information that they're giving you in order to come back with something else, whatever the situation, requires. Watching improves non-verbal cue recognition. Now, there's another area to watching which is very important for anyone in the social media game. I'll come on to that in a second. The way that you deliver words, give words a different meaning. If you have a job like I do, like now where I'm speaking and I'm addressing people, I'm talking to this camera, it's very important that I learn from other people how they actually talk, body language, hand movements, right? When I started out on social media, guys, posting content, fuck me. If you go to my Instagram, if you can be asked, and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you will piss yourself, because I used to speak like a fucking idiot. In fact, something came up on my phone yesterday, and it was like one of the first videos I ever made when I started coaching. And Jesus Christ, I couldn't even watch it. It was only 60 seconds long, and I was like, fuck, did I put that on the internet? That's absolutely fucking terrible. Part of the process, though. But again, that's another skill. It's another asset that you will use in all areas of your life. The other thing that's important for anyone in the social media game, as I am, content, good quality content, a lot of it is the visual representation of it. So you've got what you're saying, how you're saying it, but also how that's delivered in a visual format. So if you're a coach watching this, or if you do anything that's online and you do content as part of your business, which most businesses really do, in 2025, or if you don't do it now, you will be doing it at some point in the future, mark my words, because everything is just going online, it's going content driven. You need to understand this. You need to understand how something's maybe delivered visually. Spreading out the way you learn and splitting it over reading, listening, and watching also reduces mental fatigue and keeps learning fun. So sometimes, guys, I've had a really heavy work day, and I'm like, the thought of sitting down and reading a book is just like, that's a bit, I could do it 100%, but it's much easier for me to go on YouTube and find a video on the topic that I'm trying to learn about. It just makes it easier for me to absorb. That way you can get your 30 minutes in every single day. No excuse again. Application is more important. This is where everyone goes wrong. This is kind of the point of this video. You retain 3 times more when you apply. That is a statistic. I'm not saying that you retain 3 times more information when you apply the information. If you absorb, you get short-term benefit. You can recall it for maybe a day, a couple of days. Oh, by the way, mate, I was listening to a podcast the other day. It said this. If you never apply that, you come back in a month. Or sorry, if you go forward in time a month. What did they say in that podcast again? I completely forgot. I'm going to have to rewatch it. If you focus on applying it, that will cement and stick in your brain. That has real long-term benefit. Learning is behavior change. That is exactly what learning is. Expanding your knowledge to change how you behave in the future with that knowledge and how you apply that knowledge. So we have to apply. That's like 50% of learning. You've got to absorb, but you've got to then go and apply. Think of the application as reps. We have to do reps in order to make something stick. You have to do it and do it and do it. When you're in school and you're learning from a textbook and you don't actually apply any of it, it's fucking so hard. It's so hard to remember any of it. And we've all done exams, guys. You know what I'm talking about. Revision is fucking so, like, it's just a waste of time. These things that you've been learning about all year long, now that you've got an exam coming up, you have to learn about them all again. Does that not seem backwards to you, right? Because all you're doing in the school year is absorbing. You rarely apply it. All right, you might do some activities in your fucking workbook or on the whiteboard, or you might get the Bunsen burner out in science and burn some shit, but you know, it's not enough. You need to go and apply it in order for it to stick. And you can do this in many ways. Ad hoc during the day, just becoming more aware of the day. All the information that you've been learning about, just become more aware, become more present in the day and think, right, is there an opportunity for me here to learn this, to apply it? And I can give you an example. Recently, I've watched a podcast with Vin something. Can't remember his name. Vinny, maybe. Vinny something. Can't remember his surname. And he's a public speaking expert. Very important for me and my job. He was on Diary of a CEO, and he was talking about the way in which you speak. So next time I was going and speaking to a client, or I was on a call, or even if I went to like the shop and just interacted with someone, I was thinking about, right, what was he saying? How can I apply that? In business and work, try out new systems and frameworks. Even if they don't work, you get benefit from trying to apply something new. It expands your brain. Mindset, becoming aware of thoughts and thinking patterns, journaling, absolutely key for this. So if you're learning about mindset, if you're learning about how to process emotions, be less stressed, be less anxious, whatever it is that you're learning about, you need to journal, you need to reflect on this to actually cement it. Assess before learning. This is important. So don't just dive in to the latest random podcast that you stumble across. The latest modern wisdom with a guest that's just talking about something that's not even applicable to you. Absorbing some information over nothing is always going to be more beneficial. But if you're really serious about this, guys, be specific. Be very, very specific with what you're trying to learn about. So before you jump into what you're actually going to watch, do a little audit. What do you need the most right now? Where are you currently struggling? What skill is currently holding you back? What area of your life would have the biggest ROI if improved? You might not need the sexy topics right now, the things that you really want to learn about. It might be the things that are more fundamental, more basic, but you really need them. That would drastically change your life. That's where you should start, guys, because if you learn them and you apply them, you will then feel better. The process of learning then makes more sense because you're going out and applying it, and then you buy the freedom to like maybe change the topics and move into like areas that maybe excite you a little bit more. But the point of self-development is to get better. If there's an area that you're currently lacking or struggling, or maybe is a bit of a weakness for you, put your focus there, address that first, then move on to the topics that are a little bit more interesting. And you can cycle through topics as well. And I do recommend this. Don't just get stuck on one thing. So after you audit, focus on the priority for you. What is the main thing for you? Maybe it's fucking making money. How do I make more money? You know, it's a typical one for a lot of people. That's what they're kind of seeking when they enter, you know, trying self-development and buying books, listening to audiobooks, watching podcasts, whatever. You know, will that drastically improve your life? Well, put all your eggs in that basket, in my opinion. You know, go for that first. Get that fucking nailed down. Go deep on that. Gather a deep understanding instead of a shallow understanding. That will give you long-lasting impact as well if you're applying it. So focus on that topic relentlessly. 30 minutes every single day, just go on the same topic, learn more and more and more, but also go away and apply that knowledge. That will cement all of that stuff. That will be long-lasting. That will be permanent. That will be permanent. And then, you know, maybe you don't have to come back to that topic for a long time once it's actually doing its thing. Areas that you can focus on: mindset and identity, career, high-income skills, mental resilience, fitness and performance, health and biohacking, consciousness and perception. Consciousness and perception, I'm very, very big on this because this is an interest topic for me, like a passion project. I love thinking about life and existence and consciousness. Very, very intriguing to me. But also, when you're really trying to push the mind into new areas, that has a lot of benefit. You know, you kind of advancing into like unknown waters. You've never really thought about these things before, and it's like it pushes your brain to work in a different way. And I really like that, like really going deep on something very, very important. This is how you become dangerous, guys. Become a versatile weapon alongside building your physique. So yes, health and fitness, number one. You have nothing without your health. If I took health away from you, you can't fucking do anything in life. Health and fitness, number one. Prioritize mental and physical health, but do this alongside. So get lean, jacked, and fit. Confidence, energy, aura. Focus on mental health. You do that as a byproduct of physical health, but also give it direct work. Achieve freedom of mind. My top 3 goals, and this is what I say to clients, these are your top 3 goals in order. Freedom of mind. The ability to basically move through life and not be anxious and not be stressed. That's what you want. It comes from physical health, fitness, exercise, but also putting time into your mindset, working on weak areas. Freedom of time, controlling your schedule more, and then financial freedom as well as number 3. That is in order of priority. Self-development helps you beat absolutely everyone. Non-stop progression every single day. This will result in your life changing drastically, guys. It will. Apply what we're talking about here. 30 minutes every single day. It's not much. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. And if you can compound that over time, you're going to move so much quicker than everybody else. 30 minutes for 1 or 2 or 3 days, it ain't going to feel like much. But if you just relentlessly fucking do it, life will change absolutely drastically. I've got a list of top 10 self-development books. If you shoot me a message on IG, with the link is in the bio, just say books, self-development books, top 10 self-development books, or just say you want it. I'll just send you it. I've literally got it in my notes. I will ping it over. And then I also have an email newsletter, guys, the Mindset Mastery Memo, 3 or 4 emails per week talking about mindset, different ways to think, different ways to level up. Add that into your arsenal. Free information. Why not? So, let's go, guys. Keep learning. Keep growing. Get anything you want from life by putting your time and your energy into the correct areas.